it's usually about a 30-minute drive to the game. And when you pull up and you see the excitement and everybody in the parking lot and the tailgating and the fans are so excited, you just take a lot of pride in how far we've come and how much this city loves us and how much our fans love us. You know, they'll all be in the hotel and I'll give my last little 5-minute speech, then we'll get on the bus and then I put on my headphones and I've got a Christian playlist that I listen to on game day that just kind of eases my spirit, to be very honest with you. And usually, you know, floods of emotion go through your mind because you're just so nervous and you're so excited.
Spirit Walk's probably my favorite thing. You know, that's where you could actually talk to the fans briefly. I would get off, speak to everybody, go speak to my family. Every time I got off, I know my parents are gonna be to the left. They trying to take the pictures, sign stuff, but you know I had to get in. So I was always the last one out. I was pretty special. I always loved the Spirit Walk. But just having that support, it was pretty cool that you know you have people rooting you on, cheering on you.
In 2 years, the Tower of the Americas will be casting a shadow on the latest addition to our skyline.
This is a historic occasion for our city, a major milestone not only in the development of the dome, but in the progress of San Antonio.
The Alamodome sometimes gets a bad rap because if we build it, they will come. That was kind of the way it was sold to San Antonio, and we still don't have an NFL team. But the Alamodome has been great for the city of San Antonio. You think about all the major events.
The Alamo City in San Antonio.
It will be a night to remember at the Alamo in Texas.
I look up and rain's coming down.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Stan Kelly, and welcome to the Alamodome.
Those were special moments, especially during the playoffs.
Something that really wraps more than just a football game into it. It actually has years and years of history and memories.
What would downtown San Antonio look like without the Alamodome? I can't even imagine even picturing that in my mind. I thought it was a brilliant idea. Henry Cisneros, the mayor of San Antonio many years ago, that was his dream to do that, and he made it happen.
The Alamodome is already a place of historic events in terms of athletics. You know, some great Alamo Bowls, probably some of the most competitive bowl games in the last 30 years.
The atmosphere in the Alamodome on game day is electric. You know, especially when it's on television, I have so many friends who are texting me during the game that they can just feel the energy. They can feel the pride of San Antonio, the energy of San Antonio. By far, we have the best fans in the nation.
The Spurs even went back there to play their 50th anniversary. It's just the cultural center of San Antonio and where so much life happens.
That Alamodome not only is a picture of San Antonio downtown, but the money, the events, everything that it has brought in, from Final Fours to the Valero Alamo Bowl to UTSA football.
So when we first started with the tailgates, my wife and I, we'd go buy a box of chicken. We'd go into the parking lot. We'd put the tailgate down. I had my flag up, or we had our, and we'd sit there and we'd watch. And there was one canopy here, maybe one there, and every year it just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
You have the Alumni Association having their group of parties. You have other folks meeting in local restaurants and bars, and they're getting excited about what's about to happen. And then you have the tailgate right outside the Alamodome, where you walk around and everybody is just that fiesta atmosphere, that San Antonio vibe that you feel so much.
It's just exciting. You know, you get there in the morning, you either make breakfast.
Sometimes people are having such a good time, they miss kickoff because they're outside in the parking lot just with their friends, snacking, having a drink or two before they go in.
What's good about San Antonio and is that you can walk into anybody's tailgate, and I don't care who it is. They all welcome you. If you want something to drink, if you want something to eat.
For not being an on-campus stadium and being a relatively young program in San Antonio, tailgating before a UTSA game is a lot of fun. I mean, we know in San Antonio how to party, and we certainly know how to tailgate.
Challenges to starting a new program.
I tell you, it's unbelievable. It's so exciting, but it is challenging because they've never had football here. We don't have equipment. We don't have anything to start with, but, we're living on a vision, and we've got a great vision ahead of us. Our athletic director has done a great job of putting it together for us, and we've got a great place to play. We've got the Alamodome, a 65,000-seat stadium.
The first game, wow, it was incredible. I don't think anybody knew what to expect, right? I mean, it was, we all went in there. We all knew that Larry Coker had done all that he could in bringing in the uniforms and the players.
And I knew how big football would be for UTSA, and I'm a marketing student, so in my head I was going beyond the love of just the game. I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to put eyeballs on this university. This is going to give us an opportunity to get people to come together in the city as well as alumni.
Number one, we were looking for someone that had a lot of vision, that had a lot of energy, that would bring us some visibility.
An event down on the Riverwalk with Larry Coker, and he gave me a number 11 jersey, which I still have. And the first couple events that we did with Larry Coker, they had one jersey, so he took it with him. And then, they had other ones, and then, he was handing them out to different people, and I was fortunate to get one of those. And then everybody came out for that game. I mean, the Alamodome was packed. It kind of had a Valero Alamo Bowl type of atmosphere. It was so crowded in there, and I think just the idea that, holy crap, we really have football. All those UTSA football undefeated t-shirts that they were selling in the bookstore in the 80s or 90s, well, now we got a team.
Here comes Larry Coker, and here come the Roadrunners.
When you look at all this stuff that we've done and how everybody's come together as a team, she'd be very proud.
It's just unbelievable. The people of San Antonio have just been tremendous. They wanted football. They've been wanting it for a long time, and this is testimony to that.
A lot of people used to wear their on-campus shirts that said we're still undefeated because we didn't have a football team. But of course now it's different. So.
Cool. Oh, do you think there's any of those shirts still around, or photos, or?
I know that there's one, the guy that has a shop at River Center. It's called the Mascot Place.
My name is Joe Vasquez. My wife Sylvia and I are the proud owners of the Mascot Place. We are going to start with the one that most people are always looking for, which is the UTSA football still undefeated shirt. There was a lot of different versions of it when I was attending school at UTSA, and UTSA had one. So our store created this one, which has the football helmet and the rowdy. And we were the first retail store outside of the bookstores to be selling UTSA merchandise back in 2004. Right here is actually the official for the very first game of UTSA's history here in the Alamodome. 56,743 is a number that will live basically in infamy.
You just say your name.
Say
JJ.
Lori.
JJ.
Lori.
I'm JJ Soffit. I graduated from UTSA in 2010.
I'm Laura Gallo. I graduated from UTSA in 2023.
So we actually went to elementary and middle school together. We knew of each other, didn't really, I don't think we weren't like directly friends. And then, so we reconnected on Facebook somehow and just started messaging, about posts we would make, mainly sports. Then once UTSA football took off, we both, started following that pretty closely.
Yeah, I think that he attended a tailgate, and that's when he took a photo of Rowdy, and every year he had sent a picture. And I think it was the next day that I sent him my phone number.
Tried to plan to say hi, at the games because we hadn't seen each other in a number of years. We were both season ticket holders. This will be year 3 for both of us. We had separate tickets last year and the year before, and this year we combined ours. We'd say hi to each other at halftime or before the games, at all the games, and then we had the opportunity to go to the bowl game together and have that be our first game together. So
now we're getting married.
I always joke that if I hadn't sent her the picture of Rowdy, none of this would ever happen. This is actually the shirt I was wearing in that picture, so I did it on purpose.
This guy competed as a walk-on, fought his way to a starting position, and watch this run.
Sturm steps up, has to bring it down. Nowhere to go, trying to escape. And Sturm's in trouble, tries to get back to the marker, still on his feet. Colton Sturm has some space, and Sturm's into the end zone.
Just trying to do anything I could to try to not get tackled and make some people miss, and I ended up breaking the goal line. So that was a great play, great memory.
The start of the Frank Wilson era was awesome. The Cajun recruiter out of LSU comes to town, leads the program to its first ever bowl game.
Historic year for UTSA in its first ever bowl game.
The Bowl is set. New Mexico will take on UTSA.
The New Orleans Saints select Marcus Davenport.
Oh, wow.
Defensive end, Texas San Antonio.
They named Frank Wilson its new head football coach and formally introduced him late this afternoon.
I see potential. I see a school that's nestled in the state of Texas, that's fertile recruiting grounds.
And then starts the following season 3-0. Since then, though, the program has gone 10-22, which is why Wilson is fired today. Wilson took over in 2016 for Larry Coker and immediately started having success. He rattled off a pair of 6-win seasons, beat a Power 5 school in Baylor, and also watched Marcus Davenport.
I look at Larry Coker's beginnings, what Frank Wilson was able to do, and I know, he had a really good first year, but he recruited a lot of players that, quite frankly, Jeff Traylor was able to keep and develop, like quarterback Frank Harris. So
And everybody want to talk about the play, Oscar Cardenas when he got the tip, the catch. The play before that, we caught a play, threw the ball at the ground. Didn't work. I think we had like 3 seconds left. I would look to the sideline and get the signal and tell the O-lineman what the play was, and that particular play, me and Sincere looked at the sideline and we said, bro, what did he just call? We look again, we like, why would he call that play? All right, so it was designed to catch the ball, fake it to Sincere, it's a pop pass, and then throw it to Oscar. But the snap was low. And Sincere still carried his fake out with the ball being on the ground. And I picked the ball up. The play is done at that point, so I kind of didn't know what to do. So I'm like, I try to make something out of nothing. So I picked the ball up, I was gonna try to run it in, and Oscar still goes with the play, and he just scoots back. So I was acting like I was running it, I was like, dude, I don't want to overthrow him. It was like a lot going on, and I just threw it to him. I was like, hopefully it gets there, and I could tell it was short. And the guy backpedaled up, he tipped the ball, and it was like slow motion. And Oscar's just looking at it the whole time. He dropped on his knees. I'm like, what are we doing? and it just falls right in his lap. And that was the craziest. Like, everyone's silent. He catches the ball, and I mean, the place just goes nuts. That was probably the best time of my whole college career. That moment right there was the most impactful, the most rewarding, electric play I think ever. It was pretty special. And fortunate enough that my parents, I don't know how, they were on the field at that time. And I go celebrate, and I start running towards, back towards to our sideline, and I'm celebrating, and I don't even know how. I don't even know how I see my parents, and my dad grabs me, so I celebrate with my parents. It was pretty cool. My brother was there as well, and that was probably the most crazy. I was like the craziest play ever. It was on ESPN. It was on SportsCenter. Just how it all happened and how we came back and got that. It was pretty cool.
When you talk about Elisa Campos and a foresight that she had to hire a guy like Jeff Traylor, I think she deserves a ton of credit for that, because I don't think anybody saw when he was introduced to the public when he first came here the talent that he has as a head coach, and not only the talent that he has, but the way that he responds to the players, the way he treats the players, and the way he runs that program.
I think if you were to interview our players, they would all 100% in unison talk about our 2-1-0 triangle of toughness, our culture, our brand. What a brand is when who you identify as, what you say you are, and what you really are. If those two line up, that's a brand. For example, I have a cross necklace on. That's who I identify as. But is that what I live my life like? Is that who I really am? If so, then that's a brand. You're branded as a Christian. If not, you're the ultimate hypocrite. You're a fake. You're a fraud. And that's what we discuss all the time. Does our brand show up on the field? Does our brand show up in the community? Are we really men of integrity? Do we really have passion? Are we mentally and physically tough? Are we selfless? Do we give perfect effort? Do we really try to win the day every day? Or that's just a bunch of words we all talk about?
Welcome to the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. TSA Roadrunners against the Marshall Thundering Herd at Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. We've got two young quarterbacks, Owen McCown and Cole Pennington.
Will begin at 6 o'clock. Frank Harris has been ruled as questionable.
I believe he couldn't. If he just can, he can. He really will.
Kellogg in motion. And they toss out to the boundary. They got a man wide open down the sidelines. It's Cephas, and he runs into the end zone for the touchdown. Henry in the backfield. Handoff to Henry, gets in the end zone for the touchdown. Another RPO, and they dump it down, and they get in the end zone for a touchdown. David Alamodome. Fans are happy, and Jeff Traylor just got the bat.
the faith in the world in Owen. I didn't think any less of him compared to Frank. I expect him to do what he did, and he definitely showed out.
He just kept getting up, and maybe those hits are what knocked some of them silly decisions he was making out of him. And once he got right, I mean, he's a way better athlete than people think he is. His escapability in the pocket was big tonight, and the plays he made on the run were big. And he's a tough kid. He's a tough kid.
Right, because that was really the only thing on the resume, if you will, that they didn't have, right? They'd been to a couple of bowls and lost, but to get that first one, it's just that sense of pride, that sense of, hey, we can do it and we can compete with anybody in the country.
We keep growing, next step, next step, next step.
The first bowl win is, I'm sure, significant to all of the coaches and players who have been part of this program for years. To be honest, just being in the bowl games are what brought this city and this program as a fan to the next level.
It's another milestone for UTSA. I mean, they had gone to a couple bowl games, not able to get that win. Just another thing to check off on the resume.
San Antonio, Texas, and remember, the Alamodome is home to the Roadrunners of UTSA, and we are fired up to get this game underway.
Raising NIL money is so important in today's world of college football. And I'm fortunate with my job, I get to talk to a lot of coaches, and it doesn't matter what coach I'm talking to, it is the same conversation, whether it's at UTSA, whether it might be in Austin, College Station, in Dallas, in another state. It's all about the NIL money.
We knew this is the way of the future, and this is something that we need to embrace.
Do I think that there should be a way for players to be compensated and for that? Yes.
NIL, I think, is turned in a lot of ways into the wild, wild west.
When I got involved with NIL, I don't think I knew what I was getting involved with. The rules changed monthly, sometimes weekly.
I guess I've always been a proponent for players getting paid because they do so much. They have to go to school, then you got to go to practice. There's really not a lot of time to get a part-time job. So I've always been a proponent of them getting paid.
It's hard to tell an 18-year-old kid that, this X amount of money versus to go over there, the grass isn't always greener. Now, you've seen examples of it. San Antonio, UTSA has seen an example of it. Had a receiver leave thinking he was going to get big money, and it didn't work out.
They've got to figure out a way to get compensated, but to do it at a way where it doesn't take away the integrity of the college football game.
UTSA specifically, we don't have anybody getting paid, millions of dollars or Ferraris and none of that stuff. But we do have guys on the team that have 2 kids, 1 kid, whatever it is, their upbringing is not as fortunate as some of us. They got to help out their families back home. So NIL is, one of those factors that they can get some money in their pockets and then help out their families.
But I think for all of us, I mean, if somebody's going to throw a bunch of money at you, you've got to look at it, especially if you're 18, 19 years old. I remember I joined the Navy at 18 years old, got a $25,000 signing bonus. I spent that money so fast it wasn't even funny because you don't know what to do with that kind of money. But that's college football in 2024. And moving forward, those NIL dollars, those donations have to continue to go in just to be able to stay in the game. It is an arms race. It used to all be about facilities. Now it's about facilities and how much are those guys getting paid.
When we went on this journey to be in the American, it wasn't just to be in the American, it was to be competitive. You think about this year, we have a legitimate shot of being in the CFP playoff. It's the first time ever that a non-autonomy 5 has an automatic qualification into the playoff, and that could be UTSA.
Financially, we'll see if UTSA is ready for the Big 12, but I could see that being the next step from the American to get into a power, whatever they are now, because it used to be Power 5, but with the Pac-12 being 2,
When it comes to UTSA, hey, college football playoff. I mean, I don't see why not. I hope Jeff Traylor stays here for 100 years.
Is it possible? Can we get there? And I think that it's okay to put a monstrous goal out there, keep your head down and hit all the little goals on your way up there, right?
They're either picked to finish first or second. They continue that, it won't be long before they're in one of the power conferences or whatever college football is going to look like in the next 5 years.
Again, we have to remember, this is a baby program. I mean, you're talking about, we're still changing diapers on this program. It is just starting, and the success that this program has had already has just been off the chart. So I think the future is absolutely as bright as it can be.
Notching wins and bringing home trophies, I hope we always have that competitive edge, that chip on our shoulder, but also that we get the resources and that we show the support as a community and we can rally behind our teams so that we can really be world beaters.
But again, you're playing against schools that have had football teams for over 100 years, you know, and they have a fan base and they have, you know, traditions. And
we've positioned ourselves to be one of those teams that people are actually looking at. So can we go take care of our business on the football field? That remains to be seen. But we've at least positioned ourselves in the last 4 years to be in that argument before the season starts. And I think that's pretty cool for a program that's only been playing ball for 13 years.